Alright folks, Autobot Bird back here for another Transformers review. Today I'm going to be doing for you as per the title, the Longarm Shockwave. I'm going to be going through his toy modes for all four of his modes he does actually have. Not so much of a bio as we've really only seen him in the one episode. The end of last season, A Bridge Too Close. So it's kind of more going to be focused on the toyless review. Might do a little bit of a general Shockwave review later on when we learn a little bit more about the animated character. But so far we're just going to go into the toy. The mode you see in front of you just now is in fact Longarm's crane mode, which is a very nice kind of alt mode if you like for a sort of an Autobot. Doesn't really actually roll in this mode. The wheels not really for this stage. I suppose with a crane he's not really meant to move too much. A little bit about the colours, of course, primarily grey, some white up the top here. At the front he's got kind of a bluish greenish kind of aqua more sort of in the front, and of course on the crane itself. Just kind of the main colours are that sort of bluish, black, grey and the white. His crane can actually spin round 360 degrees, so it's perfect, but it's just pegged on. And that's mainly all I can really say about this mode. There's not much else. I wouldn't imagine a lot of people will be displaying this figure in this mode. I've only really done it for this review for the time being. Bit of a size comparison though. I'll get another animated figure out for you. This is actually, you know him already, animated Prowl. I'll probably put him in front. So you see, lengthwise they really are pretty much the same size. It's not a long figure this, especially in his crane. And you'll see from the side, this is where he kind of gets most of his size. So compared to Prowl, Prowl's nothing but oops. Yeah, he's trying to get his guy to stand up was a bit of a nightmare. I just had him. So yeah, so obviously Prowl's just a bike, so he's going to also be smaller. Now I'm just going to transform him just now into his Shockwave alt mode. And then what we do to start this off is take the front legs and just simply bring them up on both sides. And then the back end we just kind of bring back up again, kind of put these toes out a bit, straighten them out a bit there on both sides. And one of the smartest gimmicks is a little grey bit on the top of the crane. Kind of pull it down, and if it doesn't get caught in his head, should bring up his cannon. Now you can actually leave it kind of sitting up, but I think it just looks a bit smarter kind of having it face forward. And also there is a couple of extra cannons I can put at the side. There's a couple of guns, which is the only colour variation I can really see. There's actually some red on the tips. I suppose there's a little bit of red here, but yeah, some reds on the tips there. And he's now got a Decepticon logo on his cannon. Some more of that blue kind of on the sides. But generally colours exact same. And this guy actually rolls, because he does actually have some small wheels at the bottom. So that's kind of, say, not a massive difference, but it's amazing how you can make something like a crane into a tank with just a couple of moves. I mean, the gun is the best thing I think about the alt mode to kind of distinguish it. Of course, now it's a gun, not a crane, kind of looks better. For size, I'll kind of bring this guy forward. I've got another deluxe figure. Well, of course, he's a Voyager. Here's another deluxe. Probably better maybe moving him forward actually. So there's Soundwave. Also, taller figure Soundwave being a car, but this is slightly longer with his legs down than they would have been with Prowl. Kind of side. Get a little look. Face on. So yeah, kind of these side bits with the treads kind of make him quite a thick character. No difference really from the last kind of transformation, sort of the width. I'm going to actually do, obviously he's a Voyager, so I'll get a bigger class here for animated. This is Leader Class Megatron. Just see he's far bigger. Quite a big difference, say, from a Voyager to a leader class. I mean, Megatron, I suppose because he's kind of raised with his wheels, is far taller. But when you see in the robot modes, there's not a great deal of difference. He's really compact, this figure, for when you get him into sort of his Shockwave. There's a side on. So you see, obviously, with Megatron's kind of side engines here, they're a lot bigger. But then there's a leader class, so you kind of expect that for your money. And that's him so far. So that's just a little bit of the alt mods. And we're going to then look onto, we'll transform him first into Longarm, and then we'll go into Shockwave himself and continue from there.
Okay, so this is actually going to be a two-part review. Just in part one with a little bit of history about the character of Longarm. We first do meet Longarm in the episode Autobot Boot Camp, where he's actually one of the Autobot recruits, along with Ironhide, Wasp, Bulkhead and Bumblebee. In this episode we do actually find that there's a spy within the Autobot recruits. Bumblebee actually hears a transmission, but he believes it to be actually Wasp. Now, having told Longarm of this, he then leads Bumblebee into actually catching Wasp in the act, where of course it was actually Longarm who planted a Decepticon transmitter in Wasp's locker. So by this point of the episode we don't really know anything about who the actual spy is. We think it's Wasp. Then we find at the end of the episode that of course it is Longarm is Shockwave. Little brief glimpse from transforming. Next we hear from him, as far as I'm aware of, is not until the final episode of season 2. There's a bridge too close. Now in this episode we see a bit more of actually him in the Shockwave form, as sort of being transmitted from Cybertron. By this point he is actually a late guard member of the intelligence, so he's right within the actual Autobot ranks. We then see at the very end of the episode as well that he reveals himself to actual Bumblebee and all the Autobots that he was in fact the actual spy, not Wasp in the end. So pretty much from there we do kind of realise of course that he is actually going to help Megatron into getting into Cybertron and helping to basically get take rule of actual Cybertron from the inside by getting control of the actual space bridges. So that's just to say a little bit of a brief insight into the couple of episodes he's been in. We'll just go into part 2 now. If you just click on my actual channel you'll see part 2 of the video, and we'll look into the transformation of the characters.